Hi there, Dory Sukup here, founder of Inspiration Management. I am super excited to be with you because we are going to go over 5 modules for the guest relations team and department. There's going to be so much information. Literally, it's going to give you an A to Z platform and program that you can take and implement and do a great job in this position. And not only that, but chart yourself a great career path. So I'm super excited to be with you. Let me start first by who this program is ideal for. This is not just for the guest relations team, it's also for the management team. It's really ideal for every single position almost, because I believe that every single team member should know what the other team members' responsibilities are. So don't be thinking just because you're not a guest relations team member doesn't mean that you should not go through this. As a matter of fact, my main idea would be for you to have the entire team watch it together once, and then have the guest relations team actually study from it over and over and over until you get the information down and you're ready to rock and roll and truly perform at your best. So let me start first by doing a quick little introduction about myself in case this is the first time you're with me. Again, my name is Dory Sukup. I'm the founder of Inspiration Management. And for the past 20 years, this is actually my second career. For the past 20 years, I've been helping people like yourself, whether they own medical spas, wellness centers, day spas, come up with business models so you can implement and ensure your success. Not only ensure your success, but also elevate your success. So I've had a very blessed career. I've got to travel all around the world. I've been to over 40 countries. And what really helped me develop all the systems and the structure and the strategies that we go over is those travels all over the US and all over the world, because it had the opportunity to show me what are the challenges that people have in your position. So no matter where I went, it seemed that everyone had the same challenge. So what I would do is I come back and come up with the systems and the structure, the strategies and the solutions. We call them the 4 S's, by the way. You'll hear me talk about them. And that equals actually to the 5th S. So we would come up with all these 4 S's and test them, make sure that they worked, and then implement them. So everything I'm going to go over with you for the next 5 modules are all proven, effective systems that are going to help you elevate your success. So I'm super excited to be with you here and get to share all this great information. So we have a lot to go over. So what I did, I actually broke up this program for you so you get to see it in different modules. So, but I do want to tell you the tools that you are going to get with the module. So of course you're going to get these webinars, which are on MedSpa Biz University. So everything that I'm going to go over actually is going to be on MedSpa Biz University, where you can go. You might be there now watching this, but all of it actually stays on there so you can go back and watch it over and over. So you have the webinars, and then you have the manual, which is amazing for you. It contains all kinds of scripts and structure and things that you need to really make your position easier, because I believe in working smart rather than working hard. So once you take on this position, if you actually sit and just learn the webinars that we're going over, you study from the manual, you have all the forms that I'm going to go over, everything is super clear. You know exactly what you need to do, how to do it, when to do it. Then it's going to make your position operate on autopilot. You're going to be so good that you don't have to think. It's just going to become unconsciously competent. It's just going to come to you without even thinking about it. And that's why we created all these tools and we provided you with them so you have access so you can do the best work possible. So I want to let you know that all these are available below here so you can download them and you get to study with them. So my advice would be to download the manual, download this presentation, because you actually have this presentation, and take notes as we're going through. Now, the presentation I'm doing now and the manuals are not exactly the same. So we did that on purpose so you can have some other information between the two. So ideally, you should really study both. We also going to have it as an audio. So depending on what your educational style is, so you might prefer to listen. Some people prefer to watch. Some people like to do both. Some people like to read. So no matter what your educational style, your preferred method of learning is, we give it to you so you can get the most out of this program. Isn't that great? Yes. So we're going to start by first going over the content. What is it that we're going to be doing with each module? So module 1 today, we're going to do the foundation. What is it exactly that we need to do? It's understanding the position and what is it that you're really trying to accomplish. In module 2, we're going to go over the 3 C's. The 3 C's are call management, the process, the check-in, and the checkout. This is going to be the longest module out of all of them. There's a lot of information in here. And my recommendation would be to watch this one over and over and over until you really get it down, because that's really the heart of your position right here is the 3 C's. Then we have module 3. We're going to be talking about how we can improve communication, not only between you and the guest, but also we'll be discussing internal communication between you and the team members, because there's a lot that goes on in this position, and we want to make sure everybody knows what everybody needs to do. And then in module 4, we're going to be discussing the buying process, like what makes our clients want to purchase something from us. So we're going to go over that foundation there. And then we're going to wrap up with module number 5, which is performance measures. Performance measures is going to be a key factor here, because this is where we're going to set your goals, how we're going to measure performance, how we can keep improving performance so you can really be the best of the best at this position. So these are the things that we're going to go over. So for now, we're just going to start with module 1. Now, I do have some breaks in between. I have some homework to assign to you in between each section. So I really want you to look at this almost as a college course. It really is. Because if you take it and you really dive into it, not just watch it once and say, oh, I watched it. That's not this kind of program that you just watch one and forget it. It's truly something that you need to study. Now, I want you to get excited about this, because when I started my first career in the hospitality industry, I had to work my way up and climb up the corporate ladder. And you know, the one thing I did not have is I did not have somebody provide me with information like this so I can improve my skills. So the first thing I really want to recognize is your founders, your managers are investing in this program to help you grow your career. This is key. So I want you to really thank them for thinking enough of you that they want to invest in you to do a great job so you can have a successful career. That does not happen very often, you guys. So I want to congratulate your founder for actually being part of this program and bringing it to you. So now that's their part. They did their part. Now it's your part. It's what you do with this information. So I want you to really dig deep and realize the opportunity that you have here. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about in Module 1, is that vision and functions and roles and goals, and what do we really expect out of a guest relations executive that's working on the team. And then we're going to go into a little bit of the charting a professional career path, because I have to tell you, when you have this position, when you are part of the guest relations team, if you want a great career path within the industry, this is a great place to start. Because usually when you take on this position and you develop it into a great path, then the next step is going to be getting promotions and climbing that ladder that I had to climb without any help. So you're already ahead of the game here by having this. So these are the things that we're going to be talking about. And I really would like you to remember the 4 S's. We're going to talk about this quite a bit. As a matter of fact, everything we're going to cover is going to fall under those 4 S's. So I want you to write them down or circle them and point to this slide. So there's systems, structure, strategies, and solutions. They're the 4 S's. And every position within your facility must have these 4 S's outlined on how are we going to reach success. At the end of the day, that's why we all get up and go to work, is so we can succeed, so we can make a positive impact, so we can make a difference in people's lives. And when we do that, that's when you reach success. Because people define success in many different ways. But to me, at the end of the day, it's really being that positive force to make a difference and to fulfill our purpose. Do you guys agree? So let me start first by why I created actually this program. So as I would travel around and go visit many different facilities, I would often see that the guest relations team had the same challenges. And those challenges were that they didn't really have clarity on what that position is all about. Often people would hire guest relations team that were not really focused or clear on exactly what is the purpose of this position, what is it that they're trying to accomplish. And that's what we're going to take care of today, is gain that clarity. What does it really mean to be a guest relations team member? The other thing I kept finding is they really did not have the proper structure or systems or strategies. Those are the things, the 4 S's that we were just talking about. So that was often missing. People were kind of doing whatever basically they wanted to do. And that's not a good recipe for success at all. Then the other thing I noticed is I would ask team members, well, how many clients are we supposed to have in a day? What is the revenue per guest? How much in retail do we want to generate per day? So they really did not have clarity on the numbers either. And when you don't have clarity on numbers, how are you going to be able to reach those numbers? So again, we're going to fix all that in upcoming modules. And then the last thing is, they did not realize that that position is a major revenue generating position. As a guest relations member, you make a difference. You can either be an order taker, which is what I was mainly finding, is they just pick up the phone, they answer the phone, and they basically do as they were told on the phone. Well, that's what I call an order taker. Well, instead, in this type of position, you have such control to be a revenue generator rather than an order taker. So the bottom line, my friends, is the most important position in the facility is this position, because you are the beginning and you are the end of every single experience. And how we make that experience happens makes a big difference on whether the person is going to reserve an appointment with you or hang up and go away to somewhere else. So those are the things that we're going to address. Now, if you have other challenges as we go through, please write them down, email them to us so we can come up with strategies or answers for all these challenges that you might have. So let's start with this. This is not what I want you to do. This is what happens now. Everybody is just trying to get from point A to point B and going around the world. You don't want to do that. The reason this program is going to be so helpful for you is because we're going to get from A to B the fastest way possible. As a matter of fact, that's one of our famous phrases. We want to reach success the fastest way possible. And when you do that, life is so much better and it's so much easier on you. So we're going to start by clarifying your role and making sure that you are totally clear on what is it that you're supposed to be doing. What are your responsibilities as a guest relations team member? So to clarify that, I have to tell you first is the big picture. What are we trying to do as a business, and how is your role fitting in to this big picture. So I want to share with you the model that we actually teach, which is a very important model for you to understand and realize how your role fits into this. So the first thing in the business model on how we actually generate business is to generate leads. So when that phone rings and it's a brand new caller, that's a lead reaching into us. We're going to pick up the phone and we need to convert that lead into some type of a consultation and a treatment. So that's the number one thing that the business attempts to do. So that's generating leads. Your part in this is when that phone rings or when somebody walks in that's brand new, that's never been in your place, your responsibility is to take that lead and convert them into a client. And the number one thing we're going to talk about today is the importance of setting up a consultation. And I'm not meaning a consultation that is just a quickie part of the actual treatment. I'm talking about doing an in-depth consultation. And we're going to go over that, and I'm going to show you exactly how to reserve it in upcoming modules. Actually, it's in module 2. What I want you to realize now is that is your responsibility. So you have 2 responsibilities so far: to make sure that the leads are handled properly and that we reserve that get to know you consultation. It's from a head to toe consultation. The third step in the whole model is, of course, performing a treatment or treatments once they come to you. After we do the treatment, or part of the whole experience is we want to knock their socks off. We want them to say, wow, because when they say, wow, we know we did the right thing. And then, of course, after that, after we do this whole customized program post-consultation, then we want to introduce them to the membership program that you offer, your VIP program, so that way we have that nice recurring revenue, so the business is healthy. So that's going to be part of your responsibility also, is to promote that VIP membership program. And then, of course, the goal is to turn them into a lifetime client. So that's the business model that we're going to be doing. And different people on the team have different roles. So in addition to you converting the lead, of course, the marketing team needs to do their job to get the leads to come in or call. Then, of course, you reserving the consultation, then the rest of the team needs to prepare for the consultation, actually do the head-to-toe consultation and convert them into that customized program and all these treatments that we want to do. And then the entire team needs to do their part to get that wow experience across. So it's not just you, it's really the entire team. But I wanted you to know your role to see exactly what you need to do in order to make everybody, you and the rest of the team, know exactly what they need to do in order to deliver a great guest experience and give them what they really need, which is the results that they are looking for. So those are the things that you really need to know about. And when we do all these 6 steps, you guys, then success is definitely within your reach. And again, at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want the guests to be happy. We want you to be happy. We want the management team to be happy. So everyone wins. That's the best way. Win-win-win situation, right? So that's what I wanted to make sure that you understand your role in the big picture and see how we're going to make the best out of this situation and out of this training that we're going to do together. So let's start with the vision and the mission of this position. So I just kind of told you this. There's 2 things that we want to make sure you can do, that you contribute to the success of the operation. And that is, 1 is to make sure we're all on board with committed ideas and strategies to deliver a great guest experience. That's number 1. The guest is our most priority, our number 1 priority, actually. So that is very important. And then the next thing, because we have to have a healthy business, and having a healthy business means generating revenue. Because if we don't generate revenue, you're not going to have a job. No, the rest of the team is not going to have a job. There's no security. It's not good. That's not what this is about. So if we focus on these two things, we're going to be a lot better off. So that's the vision for that position. That's the mission of that position. Both of those things are very important. So I want you to always be thinking, are we delivering the best experience possible? And am I helping generate as much revenue as possible for the business? And if that is a yes, then we're definitely on the right track. If it's no, then we need to stop and see what we can do to make it better. And through this program, we're definitely going to make it better. So it's very important. Now, what I would like you to do, in the manual, you actually have a position description because you really need clarity, right? That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about clarity. We're talking about foundation. So inside the manual, you have a position description that outlines all the different responsibilities, the desired qualifications, the performance measures, the revenue targets, all the things that you are responsible for, responsibilities, all of that is outlined right here. Now, this is a general position description. With you and the management team, you should customize this according to what you do. It might need some customization. And that way you can make it your own and you have that total clarity on what we're trying to do. So you gotta know what your responsibilities are. Like if you did not have the clarity that we're talking about, then you don't know really how to do the position. So it's very important for you to go through this line by line. I'm not gonna go over it right now because this is something that you should do on your own. But you should go over it line by line and see what is it that you need to customize on it and get the buy-in on it. You have to commit to, yes, I am going to do everything in this position description. And notice, I don't call it a job description. I call it a position because we're not talking about a job here. We are talking about a career. We are talking about professional development. That's what this is, you guys. This is you learning and becoming better at what you're trying to accomplish. So I advise you to go ahead and take the time to customize this position description and make it your own, study it, make sure that you have everything that you're responsible for on it. So if you go through it and you notice that you do something that's not on here, then go ahead and type it in. That way the leadership and you are together on the same page, so there is no misunderstanding. And if they ask you to do something, it's not like, oh, well, that's not my job. No, that should never come out of your mouth, by the way. Because you should be open to everything and attached to nothing. That's what my buddy Wayne Dyer says. Open to everything and attached to nothing. When you take that mindset, when you are open to everything, great things are going to come your way. So instead of saying, oh, it's not my job, you need to be open to it. Sounds good? So let's know that. So this is what the position description looks like. And it should have on it also your actual targets, your goals, bonuses, whatever it is that you have under your compensation structure. All that should also be in that position description. All right. So why is the guest relations department so important? Well, I've given you some ideas why it's so important, but to dive into it a little bit deeper, again, when that experience starts with that phone ringing, because that's when the experience actually starts. The phone rings, you pick it up, you are that first person that they're coming in contact with. So we have a segment here, we're going to talk about voice. The way you answer the phone, the tone in which you answer the phone makes such a big difference. And since you are that first person-to-person interaction with a potential client, we want to make sure that that initial contact is amazing. Like we would, during our Leap Ahead seminar, we do this, it used to be in person, 3-day seminar. Now you have it on demand. It's called Leap Ahead. And when we do that seminar, we usually call, there's a segment in it about the guest relations team. So we usually call different places to see how they answer the phone. These are places that were part of the attendees who are actually sitting in the seminar. And you'll be amazed some of the conversations that we heard on those phone calls, or the way they answer the phone. We called the place one time, and I'm not joking, I can't make this up, like, doctor's office. That was the tone of voice, and that's how they answered the phone. Or it's like, XYZ Med Spa, how may I help you? It's almost like an interruption, or, oh, God forbid, I might stop what I'm doing to answer the phone. Well, I want to let you know that when the phone rings, that's the marketing efforts paying off. Whenever the phone rings, that's our opportunity to convert that phone call into a client. So that's a lead that we want to make sure we impress, and we show them that we are the right choice for them to come and get treatments from us. So the way you handle that first person-to-person communication can either kill the process or make the process succeed. So that's number one. Number two, it's up to you to determine the number of consultations that we reserve. You're answering the phone. It's up to you whether it's an a la carte consultation, a quickie consultation with the treatment. A lot of times you don't even talk about the consultation. Somebody calls up, says, I want a facial. Oh yes, when do you want to come in? And you reserve the facial and call it a day. No, what we want to do from now on, and that's what we're going to dive into a little bit more, we want to reserve a full-blown consultation with that facial, because the purpose of the consultation is to create a customized program that could be $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, instead of just having them come in and do one treatment and leave. So it's a huge difference between succeeding, being mediocre, or failing. So that number two here, the consultation, is key, my friend. You have to be totally focused on reserving that head-to-toe consultation, or we call it the get-to-know-you consultation. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that a little bit further on. And then the last thing is you have the opportunity to maximize the revenue at checkout. And checkout is such an important part, again, of the whole process, because we want to make sure that they walk out with retail products, with their next appointment already reserved, with whatever else we want to present to them, maybe the membership, depending on where they are in that client relation journey that we're going to talk about. So those are all key factors, really up to you, on how we can take that opportunity and maximize it. That's you. You see how important this position is? It's huge. It's huge. So I never want you to say, oh, I'm just a receptionist. No, you are not just a receptionist. As a matter of fact, I don't even like that term. And you should never say you're just anything. You are a guest relations executive. That's really what you are. You are the heart of the business. Truly, because without you, what happens? You are a very important part of this process. Huge. So I want you to take that ownership. I want you to feel like you do make a huge difference to the business. You really do. And when you have that mindset, you're going to do so much better. It makes such a difference. It really does. So keep that in mind. So know that you are an important person for this position. And then the other importance is the 3 C's that we're going to talk about in upcoming modules in Module 2, the call management, the check-in, and the checkout. And that is huge, again, about your responsibility. So we'll go over that quite a bit. So let's discuss a little bit the characteristics. What makes a good guest relations executive, because it really is one of the most important positions in the place. So what do you think makes a good person? So I wrote down some characteristics for you, and what I would like to also do is for you to come up with even more. I just got you started, but you can actually do more, probably characteristics and skills. But to me, some of these are just so important, that professional image. I want to start there. And I'm not going to go over each one because we'll be here all day, because I could talk an hour on every single one of them. But professional image. We are in an industry that focuses on image. That's what we do. We make people look more beautiful, younger, skinnier, more appealing, grow hair, have better sex life. I mean, that's depending on what your menu is. We serve people to have a certain image. That's really what you do. That's the business we're in. We're all about, I hate to say it, but it's all about how we look, right? Now, if that's who we are, that's what we do for a living, then do you think it's important for you to look the best? Absolutely. So I want you to take a look, have a moment of truth with the way you show up to work. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm not saying you have to be a 10. I'm not saying you have to be absolutely beautiful. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how you present yourself. I mean, some people can be not attractive at all, but the way they present themselves makes a huge, huge appeal to who they're communicating with. So I want you to, this would be a fun exercise actually to do with the rest of the team. Maybe have a makeover night where you bring in someone, have some wine and cheese, and just do treatments on each other, look your best, maybe do a new hairstyle, something. But what I want from you is when people walk in to that reception area, I want you to just be glowing with great positive energy and a professional image. It is so important because we have to walk the walk and talk the talk. We can't be selling things on our menu if we're not living those things. You guys are with me? This is so important. And then, of course, number 2 is a great communicator. If you can't communicate in a classy way and communicate properly with the clients that we are trying to attract, so being part of our Flying High membership, we're always focused on attracting the affluent to come into our place. As a matter of fact, one of our seminars, the Millionaire Circle, that's all it talks about, how to attract the affluent people. And if we want the affluent consumers to come to our facilities, then we need to know how to communicate with them. Because if we are extremely casual in our communication, you're not going to retain the affluent. I've gone into places as a secret shopper, and I would go in for my appointment, and people would say, the receptionist would say, "Oh yeah, your next client is here. She's the one with the red sweater on." That's how I got introduced. I'm hearing her talk about me as the girl with the red sweater. What do you think? Do you think if I was a client, do you think I would come back? Heck no, I'm not going to come back because I like classy communication. I like good service. And if you don't have enough common sense in your head to say to someone, "Oh, this is Miss Dory Sukup, she's here for her treatment," or "This is Miss Dory, she's here for her treatment. Dory, please meet so-and-so, she's going to be doing your treatment." I'm not the girl in the red sweater. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. So I want you to really look at every one of these different characteristics. I want you to check the ones you think you have, right? So check it, or circle it, whatever. And if you don't have some of these characteristics, then your job is to start working on some of them so you can improve your behavior, you can improve how you come across to clients, you can improve how you communicate with the team. Those are all essential things that you must do. So be honest, look at everyone and see what you need to improve. Again, I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but another one that to me that's very key is coachable. And that's what we're doing right now. You know, that's one thing about my personal team. If they're not coachable, I mean, that's one of my questions on the interview. Do you like to continue learning? We call it personal development time, right? So the more you develop your skills, the better off you're going to be. And if someone is not coachable, that's like being on a sports team. You're playing for the NFL or the NBA or whoever, and you're not going to listen to the coach. How long will you be on that team? Not very long. So you got to be open to training. You've got to be open to coaching, to personal development. And that's why I am so proud of you that you're watching this now, because I know that you have that drive. As a matter of fact, being driven is one of the characteristics. You have to have that burning desire to want to do better. And the only way you're going to be able to do better is if you keep learning. You know, I never stop learning. I learn something every single day. You need to make that commitment. Make the commitment to learning and developing your skills and your characteristics so you can be the best that you can be. Listen, if you're going to get up in the morning, jump in the shower, get dressed, get in your car, drive to work, you might as well be the best that you can be. Why would you want to do something half you know what? You don't. So yes, it does take a commitment to wanting to be the best. And that's really what I want for you. I want you to be the best of the best. You gonna do that? You're probably already great. But you know what? There's always room for improvement. So it's a good thing. All right, so I want you to take a break here. I want you to write down the characteristics that you need to work on, or what do you do so good, what do you need to work on, improve, and then where can you go to actually improve. Now, if there are some things that we can help you with that maybe are not in this program, then they might be in another program that we have. As a matter of fact, we have the Recipes for Success, which is all designed for team training. So that would be another program for you to tap into. But if we don't have it, then please reach out to me or my team and say, I would love to have a program on this to help me with that. And we will be more than happy to develop that and help you with it. All right. So the next thing we're going to talk about is differentiation, is how to be unique. You know, the truth is, competition is becoming fierce. There is a medical spa, wellness center, a day spa. They're everywhere now, right? There's no shortage of anything. People have options. Consumers have more options now than ever before, right? So how can we show up and let them know that we are the only choice? How we do that is by being unique, by being the best of the best, by differentiating ourselves and our team. So that is key to the success, really. So what we want to do is be able to deliver those great, unique experiences, right? And what is it that the guests actually expect from us? What do you expect of your position? If we are clear on those expectations, then everyone is going to be happier because we're going to fulfill on those expectations. So you need to be clear on what do you expect, what does your manager expect of you, and what do the clients expect of us. All these expectations need to be met. Are you with me? And when we meet those expectations, then we're really on our way to do better things. So let's discuss the goals here. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? So I have 2 slides here for goals that I want you to really look at very carefully. And then if you know those goals, great. If you don't, this is a time for you to get with your management team and make sure that they define these goals for you, because you need clarity. You need to know what is expected of you. That's what we're talking about here. So what does the management team expect? What do you expect? And how can we fulfill, again, the expectation of the clients? So what do we have here? We're back to delivering that wow guest experience, right? You gotta knock their socks off. You have to be unique. This is the uniqueness that I was talking about. We can't be like everybody else. We have to stand out. We have to stand out. So we want them to say that, wow, this was great. And then, of course, we need to be able to reach our revenue targets. Now, moving forward, in Module 5, we're going to go over how important it is to know what your revenue goal is, what is it that we're trying to achieve for treatment sales, for retail sales, all the way around. It's very important for you to know what those are, because your compensation model should be tied really to the performance. And then we have to utilize all the tools. Now, I am going to go over some forms that are part of the experience in upcoming modules. And it's very important for you to follow that system, because if you don't follow the system, then we don't have consistency, accuracy, or growth. Those all disappear. And when we follow the system, then we do have all these 3 things: consistency, accuracy, and growth. That's why it's so important to have the systems. And then the other thing is, you've got to know your menu. I go into some places and you ask them about a certain treatment and they're not familiar with it, or they don't know how to answer, or they put you on hold. You got to know your menu inside and out. And then you've got to know your product knowledge too. So if somebody asks you a question about a product, I'm not saying you have to know, like, in-depth knowledge, but you need to have an idea of what that product does. Like if I say, oh, I want a vitamin C serum, and I say, well, what does it do anyway? Like, if you can't tell me that it's going to brighten my skin, give me a better, even skin tone, then you're missing the point of working in a medical spa or spa, right? So you got to know that product. And then, of course, be able to turn those callers into the get to know you consultation that we were just talking about a little earlier. So that is a must. That's part of your goal. You're part of the team, so you're there to support the providers and make sure that they know what their schedule is for the day, who's coming in, things like that. So you being that support for them is also very important. We talked about the communication and the image, how key that is. I'm gonna explain something to you called the Daily Success Planning Meeting. We're gonna go over that in upcoming modules, and how important it is for you to actually be part of the Daily Success Planning Meeting. It's where we discover our opportunities for the day and we take advantage of them, make sure that they become a reality. And then, of course, promoting the membership program, that's going to be huge. Having a reoccurring revenue model is so important to the business health. Now, I don't know about your business. Maybe you have one, maybe you don't. If you don't have one, you need to get with your manager and they need to implement the copy system that we teach for a reoccurring revenue model. And if you have it, then it's part of your obligation to actually promote those memberships and make sure that we enroll people in the program. That's going to be huge. It's a great way for you to also earn additional income. And then, of course, making sure that your domain, your reception area, looks absolutely amazing, from merchandising to inventory management. So those are also some of the things, depending on, again, your structure and your facility, but those are things I would expect from the guest relations team to keep an eye on and make sure that everything is done properly. I was in a place not too long ago. I walked in, had a facial, walked out, and the person recommends a product for me. As she's even giving me the recommendation, she says, "Oh, I think we're out of it, but I'm going to recommend it to you anyway." It's like, how stupid is that? Like, what the heck? Are you kidding me? So those daily success planning meetings are meant to discuss some of these things. So if you know you're out of a product, well, I'm not going to recommend the product that I'm out of. I'm going to recommend the product that we have. So that's why it's so crucial, you guys, for everybody to know what's going on, what inventory we have, what's the promotion for the day, what's our goal for the day, what are we trying to accomplish. So when we are clear on our goals, guess what? You're more likely to achieve the goals. You agree? Absolutely, and that's what we're talking about here. This is so key. So this is gonna be a brief part here of the knowing your targets. I need you to know what they are: monthly, weekly, daily, hourly. How many treatments do we need to reserve? How much in retail sales do we need to generate? How many gift cards do we need to sell? How many memberships do we need to promote and enroll guests in? Those are all things you need to be aware of. And the more you are aware of them, the more you are clear on what those goals are, then the more likely you are to achieve them. And when you achieve them, you get rewarded. Because we believe in a performance-based compensation model, right? The more you help the business succeed, the more you should be able to earn. Now, if you don't have that compensation structure, you need to have your manager or your founder call us up, because you really need to have that in place. You deserve an opportunity to prove that you are great at what you do, and if you help them reach those goals, then you should definitely be recognized and rewarded for it. So those are very key. And then here are the other things that are so crucial to the success of the operations. We call them the 5 R's. And that's to gain reviews. We need to ask for reviews, because in today's world, reviews are everything. Isn't that like the first thing you do if you want to go to a new restaurant, if you're going to go see a movie, you want to go to a resort? Isn't that what you do? That's the first thing people do. And if the reviews are not there, or if they're not high, they're not coming. And how we get reviews? We ask for them. So we need reviews. We need to ask for referrals. They're the best kind of clients to have. We want to increase our retention to make sure people come back. We want to make sure we recommend home care opportunities for them to take home with them. And then we want to reactivate lost clients. So if someone has not been with us for a while, we need to be able to pick up the phone and be able to invite them to come back in. So these are very, very important principles that we must be focused on in order for us, again, to do the best job that we can be doing, the best effort that we can be doing, so we can reach the level of success that we want. Does that make sense? Yes. So let me get you excited. Here's a career path. For a long time, I've always felt being a guest relations team is the best place to actually start if you have the passion to go into management or leadership roles. Because you can start as a guest relations executive, and once you perfect that position and you're so good at it, then guess what? The next step is going to be you becoming a department lead. And then once you become a department lead and you do a great job at that, then maybe you can become a supervisor for the entire facility. Then once you do a great job as a supervisor, then you can go into management. And then you can become the director or the practice manager. So it is such a great career path for you to be able to go right through and climb that ladder of success and increase your income for yourself, for your family, have a better lifestyle, be rewarded for all the efforts that you put in. Wouldn't that be great? Absolutely. That's what I did in my first career. So I got into the hospitality industry at a very young age, and I started at a very entry position. I worked my way up all the way to vice president. And I had the most amazing job for many years, making great income, but I had to work at it. I had to, improve, and I had to do the position even before they gave me the promotion. I kept striving and being driven and being hungry for knowledge. And the more I worked and applied educational things that I was learning into each position, then the more I was able to earn and the more I was able to achieve. So I hope I'm exciting you in the opportunity again that you have here, because truly it's an amazing opportunity for you. It really is. But it does take a commitment. It does take a commitment on your behalf to want to do well. You can't have one foot in and one foot out. You can't be just half doing it. You have to be all in. And to be all in, it takes a commitment. So I hope that you make a commitment right now to succeeding, to wanting to be the best of the best and be able to do your role the best way possible. So this is the part here where you should, again, turn off the webinar, or if you're listening to the audio, either way, take some time. You can do this as a group or do it with your manager and truly clarify your role. Look into the position description. Talk about the revenue goals that you're trying to do. Talk about the characteristics that you need to improve upon. Your image, all these things that we discussed. Again, this is about the foundation that we just discussed. So we've spent a lot of time talking about it, but it is so worth it, because if you don't have a good solid foundation, then you really have nothing. So you have to be very careful on what you're trying to accomplish here. So I want you to take some time, write down your takeaways. What were some of the most important things that you actually took away from this module 1? And then come up with the things that you want to do, you want to accomplish, you want to work on. And then start with the help of your manager or with your other teammates to start going over some of these things. Sounds good? All right, so this brings us to the end of Module 1. And then you can go into Module 2 next and continue. Module 2 is going to be about the 3 C's that we talked about, and I will see you in Module 2. Until next time, stay inspired.